Alright, so this isn't what I usually do on the channel, but I've seen this Stardew Valley challenge going around where you spend a year on the farm and only go into town once a year. So here's what I'm doing. I am Lady Recluse on the Walden farm, very thematically appropriate, wearing some not fashionable but durable clothes. My plan is to go into town once a year, but instead of doing it at the end of the first year, like I've seen a lot of other people doing, I'm going to go at the end of the first spring. That way my trip into town is actually usable and valuable to the year experience and not just the end cap. My main goals are to make this a beautiful, livable farm that maintains profitability and, of course, to have my grandfather be proud of me at the end of year 3. Not that I'm going to get that far in this video. I love that you start the game with a few parsnip seeds, that way I don't have to worry too much about picking up mixed seeds right away. The farm choice is actually really important to the success of this challenge, I think. I chose the Four Corners farm, and what that means is that my farmhouse is on the top right corner, the bottom right has a quarry, bottom left has a larger pond, the center has the greenhouse and cave, and there are 2 smaller ponds out there as well. The biggest advantage of this setup is that I will still have access to a small amount of stone and copper from my small little quarry. The first thing to do is actually my favorite part, clearing out the space. I love making order from chaos, and I'll start by the farmhouse because I want my plants to be right out by the door. I'll need to water every day, and I don't want to walk all the way across the farm to do that every morning. I'm also making sure that it's next to the little pond so that I can easily refill my teeny tiny little watering can. Each of the 4 corners does have a shortcut leading through, but unfortunately to get through those you need upgraded tools, and that would require 2 trips into town, so alas I'll be doomed to walking all the way around every single time. When I start clearing the farm, I like to start with the freestanding stone and wood so that I can walk through the area without being stopped every 2 seconds. I also find it more time efficient to work with 1 tool at a time and work your way around the area with only an axe or only the pickaxe. If you're constantly switching tools, it just takes a bit longer. And wow, energy does not last very long in early game. On one hand, it's a bummer because that means I'll be ending my day at noon. But on the other hand, maybe it's good because it'll get me through the days a little quicker. Once I start getting acorns and such from the trees, I can start to make the trail snacks and eat for energy. But honestly, I have so much time on the farm, I don't think that shorter days is really going to break my goals. I'm also a crazy person and like to have my chests organized. So 1 chest for things I needed for town day, 1 for building supplies, 1 for food, 1 for selling, compartmentalizing. And then of course you have to color code the chests accordingly. At this point, I'm not going to make you watch another 25 days of me cleaning up the farm. So here's a quick screenshot progression of each corner of the farm from day 5 to the end of summer. It is finally time to get ready for my first trip into town, and of course that prep starts the day before. First things first, I have to sell everything I can so that I have as much money as possible to spend, and then I have to figure out my inventory. I need to know exactly what I have to bring with me because I'll be getting more when I'm out, like my fishing pole and Robin's axe, and I'm going to bring my pickaxe just in case I have time to start the mines. So I need to carefully balance my inventory to have room, but also bring what I need. It is an extra luck day today, so hopefully I'll be able to make it to the mines. First up is Robin's axe, hidden down below Marnie's farm. Next is Willie's for the fishing rod, skipping the cutscene. And I brought exactly the amount of wood that I need to reach the tide pools so I can get all the cool crap over there. Next, I have to do an awful annoying dance between Clint and the library. I don't have a lot of inventory space, so I have to break open a few geodes and then donate what I can to unlock gifts like the seeds. Fourth step is to unload some inventory. So I need to find Jody and Demetrius and Robin for deliveries, Conveniently, a bunch of people are over at the store for some sort of exercise thing. I'm not going to go out of my way to meet people on this trip, but I mean, if they're right in front of me, I may as well talk to them because sometimes they send you stuff in the mail. Since it's only noonish, I am going to mad dash back to my farm to unload my inventory so that I can fit more from the store. I really like to buy crops that continue producing throughout the season or produce in more than one season. So corn is a must, and peppers, tomatoes, hops, all of those are great producers. Now it's back to Clint's to spend whatever extra money I have on iron, which is a thievery of a price. And I can get some copper on my farm, so that isn't a big deal. But I have virtually no prospect of iron. Lastly, the mines. I do have about 8 hours of the day left, so grabbing bread from the tavern might give me a bit extra time. Really, I'm just going for as much stone, copper, and quartz as I possibly can. Anything else can get left behind. Because it's an extra luck day, I'm hoping to get the staircases pretty fast. I doubt that I'll get to 10 for the prize, but it's worth a shot. And the lower I go, the more ores I'll see, so that's nice. I pushed leaving off to the very last possible moment, so now it's a mad dash back to the farm to sleep before I pass out. Getting this tapper recipe is a really big deal for me. I actually already have the tapper tree lines ready to go in the southeast part of my farm, but it will give me more products to sell from existing items on the farm. I'm really happy with the haul of seeds that I got from Pierre, and the extras from donating to the museum was definitely worth it in my opinion. But 6 iron and 2 quartz is definitely less than I was hoping for. I do have a reasonable amount of stone and copper though, so I should be able to get some infrastructure going on the farm with that. The fishing rod would normally be a big deal to get in this challenge, but as you will no doubt notice, in a short while, I'm absolutely awful at fishing in Stardew. I'm hoping that having nothing else to do on the farm will maybe improve that skill a bit, but probably not though. The summer plan is heavily focused around farming, as Pierre only sells seeds that are in season, so we need to get them in the ground before that money goes to waste. This will mean expanding the farm a bit, and also a lot of energy put towards watering the crops, so I won't be able to do much other than that and maybe a couple fishing reels each day. This first fishing reel is the only successful one I'm going to have for a while, because they basically hand you the first fish. After that, here is a look at what I've caught. Preserves. This is the recipe that really changes everything. Having tappers was nice for extra income and fertilizer and such, but being able to take all of my crops, preserve them, and then sell them for ridiculously more amount of money is a game changer. I'm probably going to start saving all of my hops and other vegetables to preserve because they're worth way more that way. And there you go, the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the numbers. 1 jar of melon jelly is worth 550, and while that's on the high end, it's still an incredible boost from selling the melon itself. The only downside is gathering enough materials to build enough preservation containers so that I can process all of the crops before the year's up. My main fall exploits were digging for clay, planting a grove of new saplings for a fresh flush of trees by the end of the season. And something absolutely amazing happened. I caught like 5 fish, all on my own with no special help from the computer gods. This is literally the first time that's ever happened since I started playing the game years ago. The end of the season is marked by me finally earning enough money for the mushroom cave. It's kind of a toss-up between mushrooms and fruit in my opinion. I know some people feel strongly one way or the other, but I honestly just go with what I'm feeling at the time. Every day in winter basically feels the same. Wake up, switch out the preserve jars, collect sap and syrup, clear out the quarry, collect mushrooms, harvest wood, and fish with whatever energy is left. But as you can see by the day count, we are nearing the end of the year, and if I may say so myself, the farm is looking pretty good. Winter isn't exactly the most impressive time to show off the development of the farm though, so we'll just finish off winter with one last flourish and jump straight into spring. And so here it is, Walden Farm after 1 year and 1 trip to town. I really love how this entire front area turned out. I love how the fencing just adds a finished quality to it, in my opinion. As you can tell, there is some weeds from the new season and some damage to the fences, but that is normal at the beginning of every season, not a big deal. Normally I would do stone instead because it's more durable, but my stone resources were a little bit lacking in this challenge for obvious reasons. But with the paths coming straight down between the crops and the fences going around the crops, having the rows of machines like furnaces, wood burners, preserve jars, everything like that, I just felt like it was so easy to just walk down the aisle and get everything done. I really liked that about this setup. And as we head down into the southeast corner, you can see that I also used the wood fences to differentiate the dog bowl area from the tree sap lines, from the fruit trees that will be planted there this year, as well as the quarry on the bottom. I also did the same thing with the greenhouse, the mushroom grotto, and the pond at the bottom. And right here, this part and the northwest section are really just wood farms for me at this point. I take down the big trees, plant a whole bunch of saps every 2 blocks, and just use it as a continual source of wood. This section up in the northwest, this is where I'm eventually going to have a silo and a coop with a fairly large chicken run. I am really happy with how this farm is turning out, and it was actually really fun for me to do. And sometimes you get stuck in a rut playing a game and you don't really know what to do next. You feel like everything's been done. But this gave me a little bit of a new challenge to do, and I've liked it so much that I've continued playing through year 2. So I don't think I'll film and stream all of it, just because this is probably the most challenging editing job that I've ever took on. But at the end of year 3, I'll see if I can take a clip so that we can all discover together if Grandfather is, in fact, proud of the progress I've made, despite my lack of interaction with the town. Thank you for joining me on this small, teeny tiny adventure. If you liked the video game aspect, be sure to check out the City Skyline speedrun that I did. And if you would like the Adventure Challenge theme, go ahead and check out my Adventure Life Challenge, which is my theme for 2022. Happy summer!